Hey everyone, welcome to Dave's Bonsai. On today's episode, one of these lucky trees behind me are going to get their prune for the fall. Welcome to Bonsai Acres. Welcome everyone inside the cramped plant room of Dave's Bonsai. And as you can see, I've got my shelves up. That's a big old window, so a lot of southwest facing sunshine coming in. And I've got all my tropicals in because we hit the 30s this morning. And I'm not gonna do the bonsai shuffle with my tight space, so they are all in right here. And we're gonna work on some more to make more room, easier watering. The theme continues this fall. And here's one of the guys I'm gonna work on today. So I have a couple of narrow leaf figs in my collection, narrow leaf ficus. And this is one of them that was chopped early this year. There was really nothing left to this one. In the plant room, before I brought it out for the summer, this was literally chopped to a stump. And look at that little pom-pom growth. It looks like a pretty old tree with all kinds of branches, which it does have. But there's no real shape to it. If you start to look inside, you'll see a very different tree. This would not be a great silhouette tree. However, this is a tropical tree that's not going to lose its leaves. You would never look at it as a silhouette tree. So I've got this pretty robust trunk down there. Look at that. Look at that nice thick trunk down there with the nabari leaning that way. So today, we're going to get in nice and tight, and we're going to pick from about, I don't know, 20, 30 branches, and we're going to see what half a dozen to a dozen we leave. So we can let it grow next year, and the branches that I want on here will thicken up. Let's go to my pruning spot. So again, this tree was chopped way early this year, late winter, early spring, and left alone all summer long. And this is how ferociously a narrow leaf ficus can grow in a year. And we're going to take a peek at this thing, and we are going to cut off some branches so we can get some style to this tree for next year. Because one of the troubles you have when you get a ficus tree or any tree from a nursery, bonsai nursery or not, if they chopped this and then had it growing all year long, and then you picked it up the following spring so you could work on the tropical here like in Minnesota, you've got a year plus growth with all these branches and things can start getting thick. So as my hand is an example again, if I have one branch growing to 5, we want to go down to 2, right? Maybe it's these 2 for direction. Maybe it's these 2 for height. But what we want to do is get rid of we don't want all those on there because there'll be this big knuckle of the swirl here and we'll get this reverse taper. We don't want reverse taper. So I've said it a million times, let's just look at this tree and see what it has to offer us, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and spin this guy around. So it's got this lean this way, nice exposed roots right there. And there's a couple of branches leaning out this way, kind of in the back, that's nice. Oh, incidentally, there's the chop right there. Big old chop, and this was another chop that was smaller, and these branches are back there. So as you can see, all of this poof is on the left side of the tree, not even from the apex. So we'll have to clean that up in the future. But as we spin around this way, I don't think this front is quite as attractive, but there's nice branches growing out in the back. And then here is the left side. And again, this is my front because of this nice exposure root down here. This one curves back this way, this one comes over here. And we of course want more swelling off to this front, left side, and the back as well. So really, it's a matter of getting in there nice and tight and seeing what we can clean up. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. And so this one I'm gonna talk through probably every cut that I do. And though you won't see it perfectly because there's so much thickness here, I'll try to make sure you can see kind of what's going on. Right here, these 2 branches and even this one are coming straight out at the audience. That's you in the front. Well, I don't want straight out. And so I'm going to take this one out because it's closest to the trunk. Take that one out. I'm left with this one and this one, which is actually on the branch that comes off of the trunk. And this is really tight inside the trunk, but it's right at the crevice in there. I think it's too close. Great inner node length for sure. Really, really tight. but I think it takes away from us seeing that branch coming out of the tree. So right there you can see all of the sap coming out. This thing is really flowing. A lot of white sap right there. Okay, and that's going to heal up that wound really nice. So now that's the branch, everybody. That's the main branch of this tree. So this will be the primary branch of this whole tree. So this all right here is virtually going to be gone for a few branches, and this will become, hopefully, the height of the tree in time, and this will be maybe whittled away just a little bit. So we'll find out as we continue to work on this. Now, I'm going to tuck underneath here to this bottom section. This is really in tight and going straight down, or not straight down, but straight out this way. I don't like that, so I'm going to pull that one off. This one is coming a little bit more out front than left, so I'm going to cut that one off. And so now I can get the starting of a branch right there. And there's a little tiny branch trying to grow by this bigger branch. We don't need that. And look, this branch is actually about a half or a third as thick as the branch behind it back here, which is going in a nice position. And where's this guy coming from? He's coming from way on the inside of the crevice again, kind of the armpit of these branches. We don't need that. And I don't want this small one, so let's get rid of this small one. And there. Slowly but surely, we're going to start to see this tree. Now, I'm going to stop and study and see what I want. There's another branch right where my scissors points, right inside of this thick one. It's a tiny one, real close by. Again, we don't want any swelling. That's gone. And now if you can see on this tree, we have a branch that goes kind of up, kind of out, and kind of angling down. 1, 2, 3. Well, we can't have 3. We got to go down to 2. Depends upon which direction I want these branches to grow. Well, here's another bottom one down here. Too low and too low. I don't like them that low. So we'll continue to work on this tree and see what we can come up with. And so as I pull this back again, we have the branch coming out from the trunk, which is thickened up really nice. But then it comes way up high here, and this kind of a little bit less high, and then this one down here. I don't like this U in here, right? This kind of U, it's almost a... So I think, for sure I'm going to cut it down to here and get rid of all of that upper movement. Look at that piece. A lot of energy. Now that keeps that branch here with a couple of subdivisions here. This goes inside towards the tree, a little bit too big. But if I just shorten it for now, and I shorten this one for now, I don't know if I'm going to keep that at all. And then there's another, look at this leaf, everybody. Look at how big that leaf is. That's just one leaf trying to grow into a new branch. We don't need that. I don't need this one behind it either. It's just too competitive. Okay, so I still haven't decided what I'm going to keep. Now that I look, I don't mind it as much, especially with this new subdivision here and here. It doesn't look quite so much like a U right in here. And it depends on what we do with the growth back here, if we can actually see through this tree. And as a matter of fact, let's cut that one and this one off so we can see towards the back a little bit better. And as I spin it around and look at the back, look at all these branches coming out of here, everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this side. There's 11, 12 branches right in there. We're not going to keep all of these. No way. So we're wasting energy if we were to keep this growing in the future, and we'd start to get some bulges. So what I'm doing here is cutting off a couple of the bottom ones. I don't like where they are. So the bottom 3 or 4 are coming off. All right, let's go back to the front. Okay, so now our pom-pom is starting to get a little air in here. We can kind of see a tree forming. And though this wound is pretty ferocious, this will thicken up and hide some of that over time, and I'm hoping we can whittle away at this a little bit. But we got to decide on this branch right here. I like this branch the best. So you probably could sense that. I like this one the best, and this one's more straight up in the air. Let's go ahead. What do we do? I do want it to kind of go up a little bit, so I'm going to cut one of these lower ones down here. And I can trim this guy a little shorter. Okay, so yeah, this has some good subdivision. It's a pretty robust branch. Could almost be a leader of this tree if this didn't work out, if I could get rid of some of this clump here. And let's just take a peek and take some time here to think about, well, what if this is the front? Yeah, I don't know that I see that as the front. It's still not as attractive to me with the base of the trunk and the movement. This has the gnarlier look. The trunk is peeling a little bit here though, so that's, oh, it's really peeling right there. I wonder what's going on with that, everybody. Look at that. That's probably not fantastic. Maybe the other side will end up being the front. This is like it got too much water and the bark just peeled off. Oh, look at that. I didn't even notice that, everybody, until we started to play with this guy. Oh, and yeah, this guy right here is dead. Look at that. He's a goner. So that fun root that I liked as the front is kind of not really there. Oh yeah, just mush. All right. Now typically with deciduous trees and tropical trees, this kind of wound may not heal. This tree could be doomed. Yeah, look at that. That's peeling all the way to the top, everybody. Yeah. It looks really cool up close. But that means all the life is in that branch and up top and holding on to life from that back vein back there. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to cut this off. Just because if that's dead right there, we might as well see what we can do in the future for this tree. Yeah, that's all dead. No life in there at all. And so because of that, I may be forced to make my tree like this for the future and hope that more of this tree is alive on this side. This is why you gotta take your time and slowly look at all the angles of your tree. I didn't even look at that bark, everybody. So we'll let this branch grow. We're gonna cut this down to the 1 or 2 that I like. And we're going to let those go. And that now is going to become the primary branch of this tree because of all that death. I wonder what happened there. There's some live tissue. So as soon as I can cut down to some live tissue, that'll start to heal up a little bit better. So we kind of rounded that off a little bit. And so there, that's going to be a primary branch. I don't know which one is going to survive and look better. Hopefully this guy, but we'll leave those 2 for now. And then back to the conundrum of all the branches that are out here. And that's 2 up front. I don't like that direction. I don't like that direction. And I don't like that direction. A couple candidates here. We still have that thick one in the back though, so maybe that is, there's a thick one too. So let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. So So now we have a big decision because we have this medium-sized little, well, more of a little branch here, but medium compared to those little ones I was just cutting off, with all kinds of growth down low. And again, we can cut these super short. Or do I keep the one in the back? The back one is thicker, so I think we're going to go with it. There we go. So that's all alive. That's got greenery. That's nice to see. So that's going to dry up. Now I wish I would have kept that branch back there longer, but at least I kept it. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and cut the thicker part up there off. And now it splits into two right there. This side and this side. And so if I replant this with a little bit more of an angle like this, not quite as harsh as it was before, we've got this as a primary branch and this is the new leader of the tree, and this is going to become a primary branch back here, or a secondary technically. Okay. And so this one back here is kind of redundant. I don't like that one. And then this just gets to grow up to be a big branch. So let's go ahead and cut this thick one off right there, and there we go. Now, how many of you out there knew I was going to just butcher this thing? This is a narrow leaf ficus. And narrow leaf ficus trees have a lot of ability to grow back after big cuts. We're talking roots. We're talking leaves, branches. Look at the stump from last year I cut off. Now, the only problem is that. Will this tree survive with all that depth, or is that just going to wilt away? Again, with deciduous trees and tropical trees, I'm not betting too much money that this is going to thrive, but it could survive and could be a very unique tree, but it could be one of those goners, which is kind of a bummer. But we still practice the bonsai techniques. We've got two branches coming from one branch coming from the trunk, and this is two branches coming from this one trunk. And so this can go maybe up, or one of these will just go on. It'll just be a primary branch. We'll just keep one if it survives. But this is so healthy up here, and we had so much growth. I don't know what happened there. So we'll have to keep it here, keep a close eye on it in the plant room, and we'll hopefully have this tree to talk about in the future. So that's one tree I was going to work on today. Let's see if there's one more quick one we can work on. But there is the willow leaf ficus, really chopped up big. All right, we'll work on one more tree today. And this is a cutting from a tiger bark ficus, I believe, from a couple years back at a workshop. And got it in this really nice Chinese pot. Or is it Japanese? Does someone know out there? I'm not sure. Nice decoration there. Some kind of a flowery, kind of a fun pot. I like this red pot with this really light bark here. So a nice little nabari down there. Look at how nice and healthy that nabari looks. And we've got this branch that's shooting kind of up. We don't like how up it is. Let's go ahead. Well, let's cut it so it maybe doesn't go back more up that way. And let's cut it to this downward facing leaf. This may have to be a wire candidate someday. Or maybe it doesn't make the final design. Maybe this up here does. So this is really tall. And so we're going to bring it back down to size. But we've got a tree that comes up this way. And then either this is going to be the leader, or this is going to be the leader. And it splits into two right away. So it's kind of an odd leader. And thus, again, this bends down and this becomes the tree. But there's a thicker branch back here. So maybe this is the front. Kind of opens up more and gives us kind of that hug on this side. I would cut this branch entirely off. So I think I'll do that regardless of what we decide. There we go. And so we've got an interesting kind of a reverse taper on this branch right here. So it's thickened up like it did down by the trunk. So we don't want too much thickness there. So here's another branch that's growing up, and we don't want up. We cut it off and see if we get some more downward growth. We don't know what these, and these are super thin compared to this growth up here. But what's the leader of this tree? Is it this guy way over here, or is it the ones back there? Turning the tree around. Got a little bit of a hole in there, like there's a critter hole. It's kind of cool. That'll keep closing up after a while. Well, this shows off a better trunk for sure. I think we're going to go for a drastic move on this one too, because this guy right here, which could be a great cutting, is I think too far out there, too much of a lean. So to get rid of some of that possible reverse taper, we're going to go ahead and chop that up just a little bit. And if that's the front or the other side, you don't even see that reverse taper much anymore. See that? And from this side, the wound's in the way, but the branch is kind of hiding it a little bit. We'll see what happens. Either way, the tree is super high. We don't want it super high. We're going to cut it down so it can do some more bifurcating. And we'll get some design to this tree. All right, well, that was an easy prune right there. We have to decide what's going to be the leader of this tree. We have 3 contenders right now. This is not, and this is kind of in the back. I like this being a back branch and this kind of being from the back as well. We'll just leave them on to see if they thicken up. And again, we could wire this down in the future to kind of guide it this way. As the tree goes up, this is a primary and primary branch, and then these can become secondary branches off of this, well, whatever's going to be the trunk. And maybe this curvy part is going to be the trunk up here. Looks kind of better, doesn't it? Then over here, the lean keeps coming this direction. So right now it's kind of weird because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of all in a line like this. So look at how narrow it is. Needs some time, but here's some of that texture. If we move some branches around, we got some texture. And maybe that is maybe that's the leader of the tree right there, everybody, and I get rid of this guy. I don't know, and this becomes a primary branch. This becomes the main leader. We slow it down by cutting this guy off. And that's part of this whole reconstruction back here. And I hope that heals pretty well. We'll make it go down even more by cutting that growth off, and we'll make it go down even more by cutting that growth off. That was super tall before. Now it's really kind of short and cute. Short and stout, definitely Shohin, actually almost a mame size. And we're going to make this the leader of this tree. So this will become a primary branch, and this is kind of in the back for some more texture. So then from this side, it doesn't look so thin anymore. And we'll see what this guy does right here. We'll again cut him shorter, like the rest of the tree. And yeah, when it gets 1 more year thicker, maybe we'll wire this down. I don't like to wire these thin of branches. I mean, yeah, you can guide it, but it will be this thick next year perhaps, and we can wire it plenty fine next year. So that's going to be the curve of this tree, and it's going to go up and back to the right. So that was my decision for today, and I think we're going to be okay. There we have it, everyone. A couple of more trims, fall pruning, getting ready for in this cramped little plant room, right? I will say though, the temperature in here is always in the 80s when I get back from work, even though today's high was only 63. The sun from this window behind me is putting in lots of glorious warmth. And if I keep the plants misted, if I keep the trays full of water, it's actually a pretty nice environment right now. The humidity is at 40% right now, and it's 76 behind me. When I came in today, it was 83 inside this area. So we cut this one to shape. We cut the narrowly ficus. We've got some rot on here. That's a bad sign. Not sure what happened there. But with all the stuff going on this summer, you know, I missed a few things. And that, of course, brings up that point to make sure you're always checking your trees and trying to give them the best care possible. So back on the shelf, and we'll do this all again next time. So take care of you, take care of your bonsai, and we will see you again next time. Welcome to Bonsai Acres.